I just returned to the land today. I spent the weekend in Vilnius, resting, recovering, before I come back working on the rocket stove. Unfortunately, I'm worried that I might lose a month's worth of GoPro footage through a corrupted hard drive. Otherwise, I could not get any work creating more YouTube updates as a result of that. As far as weather, it's dipping to around freezing. It was about 2 or 3 degrees at 8 o'clock at night last night, and I'm sure it's going below freezing. Hence, it's not as convenient as it was last week working with clay. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if this drill works as a mixer, so I don't have to get my hands as cold in the water. Another thing, I'm back on the land, and already because of this cold, it's harder to motivate myself to come back to this sort of work. The conditions aren't ideal, and to be honest, I really enjoyed resting in Vilnius. This area is a lot more enjoyable in the summertime than it is now when there's not as many people. It rains more often, and I'm noticing my fingers are getting cold. I still don't have a house here yet where to stay warm in, so I run away, and I've been sleeping in Rygaudas' house. I'm grateful that he's letting me stay there, so otherwise I would not be able to continue working here without having a warm place to run away to and stay. Surprise since returning is I found some part of the wall had caved in. I tried patching it up just before retrieving the GoPro, and this clay was a lot wetter than the other clays, the cobs that I've been working with. There was a lot more wet sand with wet clay, and it did not want to stick as much. So good to know that how to work with the ratios. It's tricky with cob. Here's the setup. Rygaudas found this mixing end, and I retrieved this handle. And so the idea is to see if I can mix this all up without having to get my fingers cold and wet. So I can't wait to try this out with 2 hands. I have to say, I'm extremely pleased with Rygaudas' idea to attach a mixer onto this drill head, because it's so simple to mix this now. And a little trick I notice is if you have it on reverse instead of the normal direction, I use it on reverse and it doesn't get stuck in anything. Whereas if I have it on this speed, it's a lot faster, and sometimes it gets caught in the fabrics here and it tears it up. Interesting how these ends make the difference. I'm back in the greenhouse, ready to work, and I'm realizing how these tomatoes, more and more of them are developing scratches in them, like so, before they ripen. So I figure now is the best time to take them down before they get even worse. I guess to know for next season is to take off more green tomatoes, and I'll leave the plants, some tiny tomatoes, and just see if more energy they send to them. Otherwise, yeah, I'm separating them into ones that don't have scratches and ones that are damaged. So here's what I got done. I cleaned out these sides and I already started filling them in with insulation. And I filled this up. I'm gonna mix it up promptly with this guy. And the next time I get back to this, either tomorrow or the day after, I hope to finish up having this side, and I want to connect the pipes and all. The weather is colder, wetter here, and I'm making use of Rygaudas' home, especially while he's away in England at the moment. I've got the fire started. I just did laundry, so I'm drying my clothes directly on here. And this is also a good way to dry wet needles to use as further fuel. Status update. So here's how far I got today. I connected this pipe and the one next to it. I'm going to insulate this entire area and make this part the wall. And furthermore, insulate everything here, pack it down, try to support it so more to stop erosion. And eventually I'll fill this in. Here, I also connected this corner pipe, and this will go on top here, and I'll have to figure the rest part of it out. This is the first time in almost 2 weeks that it's been sunny weather for a part of the day. I'm trying to make use of it. I've already created a list of things I need to do to be able to take this down. Like, I need to cover this table. I'm gonna flip this sofa on top of that, but first I need to pack up the Berkey filter, and to clean off this table I still need to staple this with plastic. Hell, I can do that now. I've got my scissors. I'm going to dissect this plastic and apply it onto there. There, I figured the stapler out. It's a pain in the ass to use, but it works. And I stapled up my box. It should be waterproof for the winter. Let's see how it holds out. Testing out the rocket stove since attaching the corner piece to the outside. And I'll see if it's going to start in that, see if it pulls in the right direction. I had to give it a little nudge, and I moved it closer to the mouth, and it's working. It seems to be, at least. Yep, it's coming up here. Now, what can I cover this with? Ah, beautiful. Let's see. There should be no more smoke in here as of now. Oh, it's coming out. Got it going good. And what's really interesting is that it's just slightly warm right above here. The heat is being sucked, and so you can see that there's needles that still haven't burned despite their proximity next to the flame. This is starting to warm up. And there's like barely any smoke coming out. Huh. Compared to earlier, that's a lot less. It must be burning it more efficiently, I'm guessing, than previously. I'm intimidated by this pumpkin, but it's time that I cut it open and see what it looks like and tastes like. This is what it looks like. Ooh, this looks delish. And here I've cooked it in oil. And oh, hot. It's like eating a pumpkin. It's not as hearty as the butternut squash was. What's in between? So here's my routine working on a rainy day and insulating with clay and straw. I grab the dry straw from here, I toss it in there, and then when I have enough, because it's raining and I'd rather not have it get wet, I cover it back up with wet straw until I need more of it. And I climb down into the pit. Now with clay I can start insulating the sides. So in an hour and a half or so I feel like I've made pretty good progress. I insulated this part to the top, and I added these supports so that now you can actually stand here without worrying about it eroding further. And I'm getting ready to be able to support this. I'm still going to need a top so that when it's raining, like right now, water doesn't get into the tube. It's a late day today. I took the day off. A friend came to visit, and I'm getting back to finishing insulating the rest of this ground, and then it's time to finish up this bed and fill this up with cob and stones. It's rainy, but it's not cold, so I'll take that at least. Seeing as I need to finish this spot, I realized I need to fill in these cavities. I filled in this one. I'm gonna see if it can capture water temporarily. Otherwise, I might learn it's a stupid idea, but I'm trying it anyways. And here, I figure these are really good for holding up the corners as they are there. So I'm going to try to make use of these. I used one here, and so further. And here, I'm off, building up to here. I think I could do this 4 hours or so. I think this should definitely be done. Less than that. So the progress train is on its way. I just insulated these edges more. And now I'm going to throw these big rocks into here. And got more rocks to clean. I've gathered all the rocks from around the area. We'll see if this will all suffice to make that corner. And within 5 minutes, I already got a sizable chunk done by laying down all these stones and with one bucket. The laborious task is cleaning these stones off and mixing this clay, though it's a lot easier not with this device. And now the fun, easy part is I'm trying a new method of just dumping this clay. And let's get you out of there. Spreading it out like a lasagna and then adding the stones as layers. It seems to be much quicker than the previous method. I just mixed up another batch. Now I'm gonna start spreading and adding big rocks. I think I'm about halfway through. I've got this ready. Now I'm going for lunchtime. Next I'm gonna have to clean these up and do more of that. And I might have it done. Function that corner by today. Recording from my phone. I'm so glad I don't work an office job because it's been cloudy for 2 weeks or so, and out of the blue, it's t-shirt and shorts weather. This is a very rare, beautiful sight now, and I'm gonna make use of it to continue patching up the finishing parts of the rocket stove. Here I don't need to insulate too much more at the moment. I already used up a huge chunk of that. And although this isn't fully level yet, this corner is lower than that corner, I'm going to focus on the other things. I widened the gap here to let more air in, and I want to cob this down, connect it all so it's not all loose bricks. It fell apart. And for that, I mixed up a batch of this. Now we'll get to work. Status update. I just added a few more buckets of cob here, and I tried to level this out with this leveler. And I think I'll test it out later. But the next thing I want to do before I'm happy with today's progress is to add a bucket of cob to cover this insulation, and then probably dig up this anthill and bring this ground over to here, and maybe even add the long pipe.